Welcome to a very special edition of Windows to Republic.
Lots of people probably think that banking is just a numbers game, that it's about money, minutes, objects, all to be counted, recounted, and audited. We know about numbers. We know that a number is never just a number, not when you have the power to make a difference.
Autism is not preventable. It is a very complex, challenging, lifelong brain disorder. It affects the way a child communicates, it affects their sensory system, and of course, all that affects behaviors.
My son Kendall is 14 years old, and living with a kid with autism is very challenging. When we first found out, we found that as a small child, we knew something was wrong and different with him. There was no speech. He would rock. He didn't have eye contact. He didn't want to be held.
We found out that many children that were diagnosed with this condition were in the mental hospital. There was no support at all for families who just learned that their child had autism. There are thousands of children or young persons with autism who are not diagnosed in our country. For our population of 1.3 million, we may have over 10,000 children with autism spectrum disorders.
My concern about what we might call gangs would be how our children and our young people are vulnerable if they do not have alternatives. The work of organizations like ours and other organizations in our country would be to provide alternatives that they can relate to and that make sense to their situations. Working with people so that they have a sense that the solutions also belong to them, that they don't come from outside the community, but that they are part of what happens next. That thing about doing it with them, that WITH is awfully important. We will continue to work in communities like Gonzales. Our primary project is here now. But 5 years from now, it will be wonderful if what we're doing in this space and in this community is run by the people themselves.
You see the sunrise, you see the full moon, you have to see to drive, you watch TV, so you will definitely understand why sight will be perceived as the most important one. We help you adjust to blindness. We teach you to cook again, despite being blind. We teach you to sweep and to clean and all the daily living skills. We teach you computer literacy. And now a blind person is able to go in and vote on their own. Now you have persons who are visually impaired operating the computers and doing very well, and going back to school and doing their degrees, and everything you would need to not just survive in this world, but to thrive.
This program was geared toward changing the whole face of the steel pan performer. And so the children who play the steel pan now will be able to read music as well as take a score anytime and perform that piece of music. I would like to see all children doing something other than pure academics that would develop more of their brain and the person. You must be disciplined to do music, so it helps to have a more disciplined person.
Travel to Europe and then land in Piaco. Travel in Europe for 2 weeks and then land in Piaco, and you say, where am I? Where did all these fat people come from? Obesity is driving the diabetes epidemic. And many diabetics are unaware that they have diabetes. In Trinidad, we are seeing children with the type of diabetes that your grandparents should be getting, 70 and 80-year-olds. So in other words, our kids are growing old quickly. And the youngest kid I've seen with adult form diabetes is 5-year-old. The interventions must come now. We must sensitize, we must test, we must predict, we must diagnose, and we must treat.
So you see, there are numbers, and they can be counted. But it's not just a numbers game, because what you just can't count, recount, or audit, what you can't exactly measure, is the difference. Take the number and double it, square it, multiply it to the power of... We're bankers, and we know that we have the power to make a difference.